Hello, my name is Matthew Negro. I'm from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm studying secondary education with a concentration in English. I am achieving this degree at York College of Pennsylvania, which has a prestigious education program. There are always two questions that are asked when one says they are an education major. Why education and why English? Why I want to be a teacher is simple, and it has to do with my philosophy on life. Everyone at one point in their life has asked the question, why am I here? Or what is my purpose on earth? While there are an infinite number of answers to these questions, and none of these answers are wrong, my answer is quite simple: to be an influence in somebody's life, whether it be positive or negative. And the more people you influence, the better life you will have lived. And I want to emphasize the point of both positive and negative influences on a person's life. There's a quote that I often dwell upon when I am at a roadblock in my life, and I feel that this quote perfectly encompasses the idea that everything happens for a reason. The quote reads, "Sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the best things that will ever happen to us." If we as humans cannot learn to deal with and move on from all the negative things in our lives, we will not be able to make changes to better ourselves. This is why I want to become a teacher. If I can influence the lives of young adults, that to me means I have lived a successful life. In order to influence the lives of my future students, I'm first going to need to capture the interests of my students. I cannot do that without the help of education technology. Education technology is rapidly growing as one of the most dominant forms of education across the world. It is showing students of all ages new and fun ways to learn the same boring material without creating any distractions for the students. While technology in the classroom is widely considered a positive thing to happen to public schools, there have been some issues popping up here and there. The biggest issue is the fact that there are many school districts that are in high poverty areas where they cannot afford to provide this kind of technology to their students. In an article written by Dan Gordon for The Journal, a website dedicated to issues into education, he said that students who go to low-income schools are much less likely to get an equal or better education than students who attend schools with education technology. In the article, it states that one of the first steps schools should take to help provide students with technology for school is to allow a BYOD, or bring your own device. This means that students are allowed to bring devices from home to use at the school. While it's not the conclusive answer to this issue, Dan Gordon says that it's a step in the right direction. Another big issue in technology just happens to be the exact opposite of what the first issue was. While there are schools that are well funded, there are students who go home to a high poverty neighborhood where they don't have access to the technology that their school has. In another article written to the Journal, Layla Mayer states that this is what is called the homework gap, where because children do not have internet access at home, they cannot complete any online assignments given by their teachers. That, or the students have to go to extreme lengths to complete the assignments. This is not good, and there have been many efforts in trying to limit this issue across the country. The most effective have been governments striking deals with big-name companies to provide quality, low-rate internet for low-income houses. These are just some of the bigger issues for districts that live in high-poverty areas. For districts who do not have these issues, there are many benefits to having technology in school. The International Society for Technology and Education has developed its own set of standards that help ensure the best quality of education for both teachers and students. While there are 7 standards that create the framework for education technology, there is one standard that I feel is the most important standard in the game, and that is being a global collaborator. What this means is students use digital tools to broaden their perspective and enrich their learning by collaborating with others and working effectively in teams, locally and globally. By being able to use technology to connect with others, we can influence the people we work with together and never have to see them in person. Technology makes it easier for people to connect, which is never a bad thing when it comes to working together on a project or an assignment. But it is very possible for there to be too much technology use in the classroom. This is why Kohler and Rosenberg, 2 professors at Michigan State University, developed a Venn diagram that shows 3 different areas of learning and shows that there is a healthy balance of technology, pedagogy, and content. Thus, TPAC, or Technological, Pedagogical, and Content Knowledge. And there are many synchronous and asynchronous technologies that have the right amount of each of these 3 areas. Since I want to be an English teacher, I have to think of technologies to use that best fit my content. One asynchronous technology that I plan on using is discussion blogs for my students to post their thoughts on either the novel we will be reading or about how they felt about the discussion in that class today. I can do this by using any of the learning management systems that schools use. As far as synchronous technologies, I personally am a big fan of Kahoot, which is a multiple choice gamification that I would use as a review for my students before a vocabulary quiz or a book test. These are just a few technologies on a long list of technologies that I will use in my teaching career. Hopefully, education technology will be able to elevate my lesson plans to the point where I am teaching valuable lessons to my students and influencing them to become more educated citizens.